Hello, friends. Today I am going to speak about two musical geniuses of South India who belong to the same place and more or less the same time. Of course, I am speaking about Tyagaraja and Muthuswami Dikshita. Tyagaraja's lifetime is 1767-1847. That of Muthuswami Dikshita is 1775 and 1835. They are great Vagayakaras of Carnatic music. And of course, we know that with the Shyama Shastri, they constitute the musical trinity of Carnatic music. They were having a spiritual outlook to life and music, and both of them looked upon music as a means of self-realization. But at the same time, having said that, there could not be two people more different in style and temperament than them. Tyagaraja is the archetypal natural genius. His music is a spontaneous overflow of creativity, effortlessly music coming out of him like a song coming out of a bird, and elaborate, alankaras and carefully crafted techniques are absent in his kritis. On the other hand, Muthuswami Dikshita is a very careful artist who has crafted his music with utmost care. It is full of allusions. He was a great scholar in Tantrism, Sanskrit, then iconography, the Sthala Purana, etc., etc. And there is more in the deeper layers of his music. It is very difficult for us to comprehend all the allusions he has made in his music. So we can see that even a small child can understand Tyagaraja, what he is saying. But it requires a lot of scholarship for us to make sense of the Dikshita. And Tyagaraja again was writing in Telugu, his mother tongue. Dikshita consistently wrote only in Sanskrit, which is a scholarly language. That also is very interesting. Of course, Tyagaraja did some compositions in his own in Sanskrit, but mostly he wrote in his own mother tongue. But at the same time, we can see that they share some concern. Nowadays, we speak about patronage, and we are convinced that without sufficient patronage, music and other arts cannot thrive. And we know that a lot of people get pots of money through music. There is nothing wrong about that. In this world, we have to survive, and we are great artists are gifting something to society, and the society has to give something back. But in the case of these two Vagayakaras, they could become very rich if they had enjoyed the patronage of some wealthy king or a chief, and they were sounded for that. But both of them rejected these offers, and both of them have written a composition each about this incident happening in their life. They have immortalized the temptation and how they have overcome the temptation. So I am specifically referring to two kirtanas, the famous Nithichala Sukhama of Tyagaraja in Kalyani, very well known. And not that much well known, the Dikshita piece, Hiranmayim Lakshmi, that is in Lalita Raga. So in both of these, despite all the differences between Tyagaraja and Dikshita, there is a repudiation of the temptation of wealth, royal patronage, and the happiness and the security ensuing from that. So let us have a closer look at these compositions and find out the different perceptions of two geniuses belonging to the same time and place, and understand their unique personality. Many people believe, to take up Nidhichala Sukama first, that there is a story behind the composition of that particular piece. Once Tyagaraja, the story goes, was invited by King Sarfoji II to the royal court. So Tyagaraja belonged to Tiruvayyaru, Tyagaraja, his hometown, and this was included in the domain of Sarfoji the Great, a great patron of arts. There is no doubt about that. Tyagaraja did not, the story again goes, that accept the offer. And he started singing a song. That is Nidhichala Sukhama. The very interesting thing about this story is that this is something like a repudiation, a refusal. A king may take it in a bad spirit sometimes, may feel offended, but it goes to the credit of King Sarfoji. He was a very enlightened ruler. He didn't consider, he respected the sentiments of Tyagaraja. So, what happened is that Sarfoji, on his being refused, came to Tyagaraja's place to hear him sing. This is the story. Of course, there are scholars who do not think that such an incident has taken place at all. Many scholars like Dr. V. Raghavan believe that this is only a story. Whether this is a story or not, the composition is with us. The sentiments expressed in the compositions are very powerfully expressed. And it is something like a manifesto of the independence of the artist to pursue his own mission in his life, mission and vision in his life. So here in this particular beautiful song, Tyagaraja is brooding over his own mission of life. As I have mentioned in another video, Tyagaraja was speaking to his own mind. He had courted voluntary poverty, and he had adopted Unchavritti as a way of life, going around houses nearby and receiving alms of rice and sustaining on whatever little he gets. That was made a way of life by Tyagaraja. So, and in many of his songs he refers to his own mental anguish. He had to suffer from the people around him. All the people cannot understand the workings in the mind of such a great artist. It's quite natural. But despite all these setbacks, he was very steadfast in his devotion, and he did not fancy the life in a royal court as his ideal. And it is against this background that this song assumes great significance. So this Nidhichala Sukhama is a soliloquy, like many other songs of Tyagaraja, and he is addressing his mind And there he is asking his mind. It is something like a to be or not. It's he's asking his mind to tell him frankly what is really conducive to happiness, true happiness. Nidhi Chala Sukhama, the treasure or the sight of Lord Rama. The song does not explicitly spell out the answer, but there is cannot be any doubt about the implied answer. It is a rhetorical question. The answer is implied. And the song emphatically reinforces Tyagaraja's devotion above everything else in this world. And it is because of this suggestive beauty, because all this answer is there within the song itself, implicit in the song itself. And because of that, the song acquires a great suggestive charm. In the Anupallavi and Charana also, we see the same mode of question. Tyagaraja continues asking his mind. In Anupallavi, he poses two different objects of relish related to the tongue. On one hand, there are milk, butter, and curd, and on the other, there is the nectar in the form of devotion to the Lord. And the mind is asked to judge which is tastier. In the Charana, again there is the questioning mode is there. The choice is more explicit. On one hand, Tyagaraja refers to the holy bath in the river Ganga in the form of control of senses and forbearance. This is contrasted with a dip in the shallow well of sensuous life. And there is a final clinching statement. Which is preferable? Tyagaraja is questioning his mind. The flattery of men steeped in selfish life, or the eulogy of the Lord who is extolled by Tyagaraja. This is the song. Thus the tone and the tenor of the end indicates that the song was written in a specific context, and Tyagaraja deemed it necessary to articulate his own mission of life, leaving no doubt about it. And this is, of course, set to a very beautiful Raga, Kalyani, and Chaputala. And it is full of embellishments, alliterations. Nidhichala, Sugama, Sannidhi is there. Then Dathi, Navanida, then Dasharati, then Dhamma, then Kardama, etc. But above all these superficial alliterations, we could read it as a manifestation of Tyagaraja, a spiritual manifest of Tyagaraja. And when we read the story of Tyagaraja, he never ever flinched from the path of devotion chosen by him. So Tyagaraja is no more around us, but the song is there, and it continues to charm generations after generation with its spiritual beauty. So when you are as a musician singing Nithichala Sugama, we have to remember the context. We have to remember the thinking that was going in the mind of Tyagaraja, the mission and vision he courted for himself, to do justice to this beautiful song. Now let us come to Muthuswami Dikshita and his Hiranmayim Lakshmi. Here again there is a story. There in Tiruvarur there was a Devadasi pupil for Muthuswami Dikshidhar called Kamalam. She came to help out her preceptor by selling jewels. On learning that Dikshidhar had no money to buy provisions. But when Dikshidhar knew of the intention of his pupil, he prevented her and sang this particular piece in the Lalita Raga. This is a story. It is said that there was a miracle. The official from Tanjavur who was to visit the temple cancelled his visit, and the provisions that had been collected for his receptions were bestowed on Dikshidhar by the temple authorities. Again, this is a story. It should, however, be noted that Dikshidhar was not totally against royal patronage. The song does not contain anything like a disapproval of royal patronage as in Mamata Bandhana Yuddha Narastudi Sugama. This is what Tyagaraja is asking. Such statements you do not find in Dikshidhar. But at the same time, it is crystal clear that like Tyagaraja, Dikshidhar also did not want his music to be used for material pursuits. Hiranmayin Lakshmi is in the Raga Lalita. Of course, it is derived from Maya, Malava, Gaula, and the rhythm is Rupaka Talam. And it has structurally nothing in common with Nidhichala Sukhama. The majestic pace of the piece and the dancing movements of Hiranmayi Lakshmi are totally different. It is not a dialogue with the mind as in Tyagaraja. It is an emphatic assertion of Dikshidhar. He says that he worships goddess Lakshmi in golden hue. Hiranmayi Lakshmi Sada Bhajami. But I am not going to worship her in the form of wealth residing in mean people. The song goes on to develop the vision of goddess Lakshmi in the mind of Dikshidhar. So it has got a lot of tantric significance. And the Dikshidhar was very familiar with iconographic conventions. And this song also reveals that vivid image is evoked through this song. It is not easy to understand the Dikshidhar piece fully. This piece also is no exception. So there are several allusions made by Dikshidhar in this song. But there are many interesting things. Lakshmi is the bestower of imperishable wealth and the daughter of the milky ocean. She resides in the chest of Lord Vishnu. She holds a lotus in her hand and wears a bangle studded with emerald. She lives, that is very interesting, in the white island, Shedadveva Nivasini. And she is the Supreme Mother. She illumines both the past and the future. And she is worshipped by the gods of the earth, the learned Brahmins. She wears a garland of lotus and an ornament of rubies. She takes pleasure in songs and instruments. She is the moon-faced one and she is yellow robed. So Dikshidhar here says that I worship goddess Lakshmi. I do not worship her in the form of wealth. People worship goddess Lakshmi to attain wealth. But I disdain wealth. Instead, I worship the goddess as the mother, as a real goddess. So this is Hiranmayi Lakshmi. So let us, when we compare these two compositions, they were written probably more or less at the same time, in the same place. So both of them are declarations of the greatness of music. It is a spiritual pursuit according to them. It is a sadhana. And but at the same time, there's a lot of difference between them. Tyagaraja dwells upon the ecstasy of the mystic union with the God. So he is asking the question, Sukhama, Nidijala, Sukhama. So the ecstasy, the happiness, which is the real happiness. Dikshita initiates a connoisseur to the mysteries of tantric universe. And his iconic vision of goddess Lakshmi, who is so different from the vulgar wealth around. So in any piece of Dikshita, we will find a lot of tantric allusions. Even in the very famous Vada Viganapati Bhajeham, we find expressions like this Trigona Madhyamidam, like Paradi Chatwari, Vak, like that is many such allusions we find. But having said that, we have to assert that both these great Vaggeyakaras feel that the concerns of the material world are a far cry from the vision they carry within. So all artists of all times, they have got that inner vision and they uphold it, whatever the common people may say about them. So this may be the message of both these compositions in the ultimate analysis. Thank you.